Hi, welcome to the video. I am Chris and I'm your hobby mad dad. So on this channel I'm going to be doing all sorts of hobbies, everything I like to do in my spare time. So that could be jigsaws, building models, all sorts of stuff really. I like to keep myself very busy. One of my hobbies that I like to do and I've done for a while is laser engraving. I actually own a laser engraving machine and it's capable of lasering all sorts of materials, mostly wood, leather. I can even do a bit of glass, plastic, so it can cut and it can also engrave. I received this through the post yesterday. This is what's going to be a knife handle. So the guy has made this out of a beautiful dark wood. I think the wood is a black cherry, and as you see here, it's got the hole where the knife's going to go through the blade, and then he's going to pin it through there, I believe. And he's got some lovely chamfered edges on the side. So what he wants on there is this logo here. So the Jack Daniels logo is going to be kind of engraved across this area here on two sides, possibly even across the whole width. I'm not too sure yet. What my job's to do is to engrave this to a depth of around 3 millimeters deep. So it's going to be quite a thick engraving. I'm going to send that back once it's all been cleaned up. And the guy is then going to put some white epoxy resin inside of it, which is then going to make the white stand out against the dark grain. And that's going to be a beautiful knife handle for somebody. So hopefully, if I can get some pictures of the finished product, I'll actually put them up at the end of the video. But for the purposes of this, the video is going to be showing you how I can do the design for this, how I can take this Jack Daniels logo, pull it into some software that can make it work with my laser system. I'll then show you the laser processing and actually how I can get a logo engraved on here nice and neatly. So this is the software I use to do my lasering. Basically anything I put in here can then be transposed across the laser, and what you see on the screen will be what's marked on the laser. So I've measured up the piece and I'm just going to start inputting these bits now. So I know that the main size of the handle is it's tapered slightly, very slightly. So bear with me. So at the top end, it's 28 millimeters high, and at the other end, it is 35 millimeters high. So I'm going to input these numbers, and then what I'm going to do, I'm going to draw a little box just for the moment, and the width of this I want to have as 125 millimeters because that is basically the width of the product. So all I'm doing is just drawing the outline here. So now I want to get these to be roughly the same size. So I highlight these, and up here I just select a line to the left, and then on this side I align it to the right. I can then get the whole lot and align that to the center. So that's basically giving me my height on both sides and the width. The reason I've done it this way is because if I was to just measure the 125 and put it from angle to angle, it's not quite going to fit. So all I'm doing now is draw from there to there, and another one from there to there. So now I can delete this. So that there is basically the outline of the product. It has got a little hole in it for the pinpoint hole, so I'm going to pop that in there. This is just for visuals. I'm just putting a rough hole size in. There you go. And then because the piece has got chamfers on either side here, I'm just going to draw them as well, but I'm going to do them in a slightly different color. So that now is the outline of my part with the outline of the chamfered edge, just so you can see where it looks. So now what I want to do, I want to add this Jack Daniels logo. So if I go to File and Import, I can take my Jack Daniels logo, and it comes in as this big whole graphic. So what I can do is resize this just very roughly. So I'm going to take that height down to 35, which is the size of my product, and it's gone right down. It just makes it a bit clearer. then it's got a nice function in here where I can trace the image. So that's basically traced over all those lines. So I can delete this old one. And boom, there we go. We have the Jack Daniels logo. So now we can start positioning here. Obviously where it is there, it's a little bit too big. So I'm going to make this smaller. I'm going to go for about, let's try about 22 millimeters. So you don't want it going over the chamfer too much, because the way a laser works, it has to be on a flat plane. So you can go above and below by a few millimeters, but not by too much. So that actually looks quite nice, that. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to center it roughly where I think it looks good. And then I can highlight it, highlight the outside one, and I can align that so I know that it's bang on in the center then. Right, so all these over here, these are basically power settings, so we're not overly interested in these power settings there. That's just something I do with the laser. What I am interested in is doing a little preview. So if I highlight everything, you can see there, that is a nice preview of what it's going to look like when it's engraved. So you can see there's a handle with a nice Jack Daniels logo. So I'm engraving the black bits basically. So all I need to do now is send a screenshot of this to the customer and wait for their reply. And if they like it, I can get onto the lasering. Hello, I'm back. So I've spoke to the customer, and as you can see, we've made a little change in what we were going to do. So they didn't quite like how small it was on the handle just because of the size. So we had a discussion, and basically we separated the Jack Daniels word from the little sign. So we put the sign over this side of the rivet hole and the Jack Daniels the other. So we've been able to stretch it, make it look a little bit bigger. So I'm now going to show you what we're going to be doing. So that's the software done, it's ready to go. And basically we're going to be working over here. So this is my flatbed laser cutter. And as you can see, I've already laid out a blank piece of wood. And that's what I'm going to use just to put my piece on. So I'm going to mark out this little shape that I've already drawn. That's going to mark out on here. And basically that is where I'm going to put the piece of wood and do the engraving. Okay, so now I've got my piece set up. I've put some random settings in the laser, which I think may do a deep engrave. So if I press go, you're now going to start seeing it actually engrave. Right, so that's the laser etching done. Oh. And as I can see, that's just burnt away at that. So I need to alter those settings a bit, because that's just basically burnt a hole in there, which is fine, because we've now got somewhere, we've got the right depth. So we now just need to play around with those settings a bit to get somewhere where we'd rather be. Okay, so try number 2. Okay, that's a lot better. So let me try and get this in focus. So as you can see, it's gone down quite deep. See that depth there? So that is probably about 3 millimeters deep. So it's exactly where I want to be. And you can see that perfectly. So if I wipe that, nothing's going to come off there. So what I would do is give that a quick wipe with a baby wipe. That is one of the best things to get the laser residue off. Okay, here we go. All set up and ready for the actual piece. Let's hope this goes right. So while that's lasering, what I will say is lasers are inherently dangerous.
piece of equipment. So when I'm doing this, normally I'd have this door closed, nice little door that keeps all the fumes away. However, for the purposes of the video, you then wouldn't see very much. So I've left that open, and as it's running, I nip outside so I've not got all the fumes. But we do also have a fume extractor in there as well. And also, the door closed stops the laser light getting to your eyes because lasers can damage your eyesight. However, at the moment, I'm wearing nice, sexy laser goggles so that no reflection can actually come back to me. Okay, so there it is. There is the piece. It's going to struggle to get in focus now, I think. But what I'm going to do, because it's not focusing, I'm just going to take it inside because it's getting a bit dark in here. And I'll give it a quick clean up and then we'll review it and have a look.
So there it is. This is the finished piece. So as you can see here, it's a lot more in focus. You can actually see it nicely. I've got the light set up properly. So yeah, I think that's come out all right, to be honest. You can see if I go in close, you can see how deep that engraving is. So that is around 3 millimeters. So once that's got the resin in, that's going to look gorgeous. Trying to get all the different angles to show you. Then if we go across this right in, you can see here how it's wrapped itself around the chamfered edge. So the D's just gone over there and the J's just come over here. So that's centered fairly good across the middle. Yeah, so once I get some pictures back, I'll be sure to put them up so everybody can see. Thank you very much. Thanks so much for watching the video. It's been really enjoyable doing that piece. So this is the first of the lasering videos, and I think this is actually going to be the first of all the videos I've done. So there's a lot more to come. If you've liked this, please subscribe, give it a like, and especially give it a comment if there's anything else you'd like me to do. So with my laser, I can laser engrave all sorts. So give us a suggestion of what you want to see, and I'll certainly try and put it in. Thank you very much.